Okay, so this game is Rise of the Ronin. It came out March 10th, 2025. A whole 9 days before the Assassin's Creed debacle that came out from Ubisoft. This is made by KOEI TECMO Games Company Limited. It is also made in Japan by the company, well, the developers that go by the name Team Ninja. They made Neo, they made Ninja Gaiden, bunch of fighting games, and so they actually know history for the feudal era of Japan, and they went ahead and used some of that, although imaginary, in the background of the story to make it, well, cool. You start off, one of the things that you need to know is you have two characters in this game, a male and a female protagonist. You will switch between them during combat. They have the exact same abilities. They are trained together, so they have the exact same abilities. The whole storyline revolves around the fact that you are fighting against the Emperor's shogunate. You are trying to disenfranchise it. That is the whole storyline. Best part about all, you get to make the two characters. They're yours. And it's a good game. The fighting is solid all the way through. Imagine that.
3 centuries ago, Japan was unified under the Tokugawa shogunate.
Alright.
It closed its doors to the rest of the world, and for a time the island nation prospered. Yet despite its apparent tranquility, conflict brewed beneath the surface. Feudal lords known as daimyo were kept under strict surveillance. In public, they were loyal. But the coals of discontent were slowly being fanned towards conflagration. Deep in the mountains of Kurosu, weapons were secretly forged in preparation for rebellion. But the shogun's forces got wind of the plan and took terrible and bloody reprisals. They did not count on another type of weapon being forged in Kurosu. Warriors known as the Veiled Edge. Skilled in both subterfuge and the way of the sword, these nameless assassins were unmatched in their abilities. Under the tutelage of a master, the bladesmith, they honed their skills in pairs called blade twins.
Go!
Separately, formidable. Together, unstoppable. Blade twins are forever tied together by the bonds of fate.
Wow, it's almost like they actually paid attention to something that their player base might want to play. Unlike Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft. Imagine that. Isn't that cool? I'm just going to go ahead and switch characters and we'll see what she looks like. Because they did give you the female option. And since I genuinely do not care which of these people I am, I'll go with the guy and I'll finalize the settings. Because I also don't have a real preference. Okay. I chose Seducer because I wanted something that has a bit more story option. I'm guessing these two were the two little kids that ran away earlier on. So, after you go through and you've built your characters, you come to this screen. This is the first character select screen that you go to. It lets you pick between the male and the female, which I just go ahead and take the male, and I go ahead and go through the village and do the training montage that you've got to do, until eventually you get to the bladesmith's location, and you got to defeat them, and it's all part of your training. And then you go out on your first mission. Your first mission is kind of on rails. This game reminds me of Tenchu in the style and the way that it is presented, but it is not like Tenchu in the fact that you do not have full mobility in the areas in which you have access to. You do have the ability to bypass fights if you wish to. I will caution you in doing so, because at some point you may wish to go back through and look through the areas, because there are chests and other things hidden in those areas to enhance your character's playthrough and your playstyle as you go along. So in other words, you might not get some of the better equipment if you don't go back and actually do the search and look around for stuff. As far as the game overall, I would say it is not bad. It is not a 10 out of 10 game. It is probably somewhere closer to a 7 out of 10 game, if I'm giving it that kind of a rating. But if you're looking for a game that kind of scratches that Tenchu itch, and you don't want to play Sekio for another time, because you've already done that, and you're not really that into Souls-like combat, this may do that. It has a Souls-like feel to it. Of course, anything that gives you a third-person combat stance anymore pretty much is touted as being Souls-like. Oh, look, you can dodge. But in point of fact, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. It is just a game. And Souls-like is kind of overused because they'll use it on 2D side-scrollers, for God's sakes. And it can mean anything from the combat to the storyline, so take that with a grain of salt. But in fact, this game, if you do get a chance to play it, Rise of the Ronin is a good game. I would say it is better than the Assassin's Creed game in some aspects, and worse in others. It is not as open world. It does not have that open feel to it. It has a very confined feel to it, and the combat is, if anything, better than the other. But that's a personal opinion and a personal preference. Anyway, talk to you later.